and welcome everyone to another edition of the FTW podcast here on ftwlive.com. Tonight is our very special Survivor Series episode. So tonight, that's all we're going to do is talk about Survivor Series. Filling in for Harrison, my name is Garvin, and with us tonight is Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Lee. Say hello, Lee.
God, you sounded enthusiastic, Rob. Hello!
And Mike from pwtorch.com. Say hello, Mike.
Hello, you people.
So, if you're listening through iTunes, YouTube, or through your favorite podcast player, make sure to check out ftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in upcoming discussions. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. All of those links are listed on ftwpodcast.com, and for those listening live tonight on FTW Live, hey, thanks for joining. All right, so let's...
Happy to have you.
Let's go into... Before we get into Survivor Series, last night on SmackDown, Mike, you were obviously there for the tapings, which happened on Tuesday. A few things that happened that were pretty crucial towards Survivor Series. The first, it actually wasn't on SmackDown; it was on Main Event, and that was the Cody Rhodes situation where Cody Rhodes got hurt in his tag match. Live, how did it come off, and what were your thoughts going into it?
I mean, he took that backdrop and it looked and it sounded sick, and he ended up rolling out of the way of a Daniel Bryan headbutt, I believe it was. He tagged out, he went right to the floor on the chair, and the trainers were all over him, looking over him, and looks like they deleted that part out of Main Event, because they maybe Sandow went out and they maybe took like 30 seconds where they were looking over him. The rest of the match, he just looked like hell standing on that apron. He looked like he could have, lay down and go to sleep there. He was just so out of it. And every couple of seconds, the trainer would come over and check on him and make sure that, see if he wanted to go to the back or something, because he just looked like holy hell. And as we learned today, Cody Rhodes released his MRIs. And he didn't mention anything about a concussion, but he said that his shoulder is injured, but he won't be requiring surgery on it. So that's some good news. Yeah,
there were two injuries he mentioned. One was the separated shoulder, and the other was a torn trapezius, which sounds pretty bad overall. So I mean, for some reason they haven't made it official that he won't be there. But if you go to WWE.com or WWE.com, they have a story up about like who could replace him if he needs replaced. Do you think that they will replace him, or do you think that they might try to work him?
I'm thinking they might try to work him as long as he doesn't have a concussion. They might try to work around that shoulder, and in a tag match, it's very easy to work around a talent and their injuries. If he had a concussion, no doubt about it, he'd be sitting out. And, since he didn't mention anything about it, I got to assume that he just maybe got his bell rung, but didn't suffer a concussion. So I'm thinking they might keep him in the match.
Well, in a standard tag match, sure. I mean, it's easy to work around those types of injuries, but I think it would be difficult for him to take a bump, especially on his back. But this is elimination style, so he's going to have to be in the ring at some point.
Yeah, that's easily work aroundable. Sorry, that's just easy.
They could have him get a quick elimination or something. He could just get rolled up or something. It's no big deal not giving him any bumps. They could easily protect that shoulder of his.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike here. If it were a concussion, I would definitely say sit him out, especially with how serious an injury we're finding out that concussions can be lately. The shoulder injury, just from the description of it, sounds pretty serious. But like Mike said, I think it's easy to kind of work around. I don't think the WWE is going to substitute him simply because it's not like they have a lot of depth to draw from anyways. They've been decimated by injuries this year.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, outside of that portion of it, there was a total of 3 matches that were basically building up the Survivor Series match. We also saw a 6-woman tag match, basically to build up Eve versus Caitlyn, and then a lot of build up between Big Show and Sheamus. Since this is like the go home SmackDown, do you think that it did a good job, versus what happened on Raw?
I think they did a really good job building up the Team Foley versus Team Ziggler aspect, especially on main event and SmackDown. SmackDown in Cleveland, oh my gosh, the Miz was just so over in his hometown crowd, and we've been waiting to cheer him for years, and just waiting for the first excuse. And I mean, it was such a great atmosphere Tuesday in Cleveland. But they did a really good job building up the animosity and the infighting in the teams, I should say. They built up really well, and it's kind of sad that they waited until 48 hours before the pay-per-view to really start building that tag match up. But as for Big Show and Sheamus, it was as good of a job as they've done any other week building it up. I mean, it wasn't much. They didn't have they just really had that one segment in the parking lot, and even that, it wasn't tremendous. It showed Sheamus back in his old angry Irishman state, and I kind of like him that way instead of the jovial Irishman who just wants to fight and have a good time. So I thought that was good with building up a little bit and kind of bringing the serious Sheamus back.
Yeah, for me, I thought that this was probably the best build up for Sheamus and Big Show that they've done the whole month. Even looking back at last month's pay-per-view, this was a nice side of Sheamus that I wish that they would show more and push more. But overall, not much other focus was given. We saw Cesaro in a match with R-Truth on commentary, but they didn't really sell that match all too well for me. But Lee, any thoughts coming off SmackDown that you think is worth bringing up?
Not really. I mean, SmackDown was better than the last couple of weeks it's been. SmackDown has just been in that formula where it's just you don't need to watch it. But I do prefer Sheamus and Big Show. I do think it's right. I would take it any day over Sheamus versus a Del Rio. Jesus Christ. God almighty, that was painful. It was literally, you could not watch it. So this is kind of I don't mind it at all, to be honest. I do wish Wade Barrett would go a little bit further over than they are giving. But I'm with Mike. I do hope that the Miz keeps pushing on and does eventually do the face turn, because he needs it, and he needs it badly. For me.
I should also note that after SmackDown went off the air, Sheamus came back out, challenged Big Show to a match, and Booker T, for whatever reason, I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he booked the match right then and there, and Big Show kind of limped out. He was selling the injury from going through the windshield, got in the ring. He probably stalled for about 3 or 4 minutes, got in the ring, hit Sheamus in the nuts, and then got bro kicked, and they called it a night. That was our dark match. Our dark match was 4 minutes of him walking to the ring, followed by 75 seconds of quote-unquote wrestling, and then a kick to the nuts.
So it sounds like they were in a rush.
Yeah. Well, we've been there for about 3 hours and 45 minutes at that point. I
was going to say that this isn't really relevant, but I went to the SmackDown in 2008, and it was the period when they were filming double SmackDowns. So, where they filmed 2 in one go. Jesus Christ, that was painful. Honestly, it was more painful than the 3-hour Raw. They filmed the first SmackDown, which took about an hour and a half, and they filmed the next SmackDown, which took about an hour. So they just used video segments. And just it was Triple H versus Jeff Hardy, I remember, Street Fight. And then they had Triple H, then they had The Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy, and then they had Triple H versus someone else. God, they had to do all the entrances over, they had to do fucking the openings over, they changed oh god, it was the most painful experience I've ever had in WWE. Don't go for a double SmackDown taping. Just don't.
It wouldn't be so bad if they didn't, try to account for commercials in there too. If they would do a backstage segment and then go to commercial, you'd get 3 minutes of, dark period, and then they'd come back from break and go to the next segment, instead of just knocking them out, boom, 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 and then adding the commercials in.
I don't really know why they put the commercials in there. I really don't, because they do it with they do it at Raw all the time. When they film Raw in the UK, they dim the lights and then show an advert on the Titantron. Why do they do that? They're not live. They don't need to do it. They can just insert the breaks.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's mad. It's stupid. I don't get why. I really just genuinely don't get why. Everyone's just like bored. Everyone looks around and just wonder like, oh, and when Lillian Garcia normally goes, Justin Roberts goes, we are going live in 30 seconds. I'm like, no, we're not. it's 7:30 here. It's like 2:30 in America. We're not going live at all. What the fuck are they on about? And honestly, people believe it though. People do believe it.
They also did a terrible job at SmackDown when Big Show left the ring to go backstage. The Titantron went black, so everyone thought the show was over. Nobody thought anything was going on, and it took about 2 or 3 minutes for them to light it back up to show what was going on backstage. And then after that happened, it was about 5 minutes of dark again, and then Sheamus came out. They made no announcement like, oh, stay in your seats, we got more SmackDown taping in Cleveland coming up, and nothing like that, which they've done in the past.
Yeah. What happened when the double SmackDown taping happened? Like the Triple H Jeff Hardy main evented, and then people started to leave because the lights went down. They showed an advert. People were starting to leave because they thought that was the main event, and so they left. And then half the people have left, and they started to film SmackDown. And literally, I'm not kidding you, one half of the arena was empty, and they were just like, I think they just panicked and turned the lights back on. And Lillian Garcia had to say, and we will now be filming the second, because people just didn't realize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a very poor job of keeping the crowd in with what was happening at the taping.
Yeah, it's been some time since I've been to a live WWE event, but it seemed like when I went, and it's probably been about 5-6 years, they always were, in between breaks, they would come out and say something to the crowd or throw some T-shirts out, or there was always some form of interaction going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had the most embarrassing one.
The last SmackDown I went to, it was right before Edge retired back in 2011. They were doing a contract signing between Edge and Del Rio, and as soon as that was over and SmackDown was over, Tony Schimmel came out right away and he goes, "All right, everyone, make sure to stay in your seats. We got another special match coming up." And the crowd is still, or the wrestlers are still in the ring, and they're just trying not to get people to leave. They really needed that last Tuesday because, gosh, that arena was just about empty for that 5-star match that we had between Big Show and Sheamus after the tapings. That crowd does not know what they missed.
I was going to say it was pretty brutal in between Raw when they film it over here, because we had I remember like a few years back we had Kiss Cam with Maria. Fucking hell, they managed to get me and my mother. I don't know how. Honestly, I swear down. It never. I checked online because I remember they used to put them online and they didn't put it up. Like they genuinely got me and my mother, and I don't know how they managed it. I genuinely do not. I just remember sitting there thinking, how the fuck did they do that?
That's awesome.
It was so bad. It was embarrassing. My mum didn't know what the fuck it was, so I was explaining it to her, and just saying, oh, they just do this Kiss Cam segment, just to fill in between the crowds. And when we saw ourselves on screen, and my mum just went, I was like, Mum, for fuck's sake, don't, and just.
So did you kiss her though?
Well, I didn't have an option. It was a mother-son kiss. It wasn't like a full-on couple kiss. It was the most embarrassing thing. Yeah.
All right, well, this has been fun, but let's move on to the pay-per-view itself. All right, Survivor Series.
Good. Is your mom hot?
Yeah. Well, depends what you like. Yeah, she could be classed as hot. On another note, I'm sure I'd
make the most of her.
I'm sure you can. To be fair, she's an outgoing woman, so you go for it.
Do they call them MILFs in England?
We get that phrase. I wouldn't describe her as a MILF personally, but yeah, we can call that.
That's true.
Fine. I've got to ask.
I was just kidding. You took it way too far, Lee.
You can take it as far as you want. Do not panic. Now, I'm not deliberately going off topic, but when the hell was the pre-show? Kid and Gabriel versus the Freeman Band. I thought it was
thingy. Right. I was going to bring that up. All right. So the YouTube pre-show, currently right now, it's being scheduled as Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel versus the three-man band. However, um, as early as or as recent as SmackDown, it was still Cobra versus the three-man band. So I'm not sure when this change got made. I just happened to go to WWE.com this afternoon just to see if any other matches had been added, and that's the match now. So I don't know when it changed. When we were, posting our prediction post on Facebook, 2 days ago, it was still Cobra versus 3MB. So I'm not sure when that changes. Mike, have you heard anything of why they made that move?
No, I have no idea why they decided to change it. Maybe they gauged some crowd response, off of Twitter and stuff. It did not seem like too many people were looking forward to that pre-show.
No.
Well, I think that they've just made it worse. I think this could be the most lowest viewed pre-show ever.
Yeah, but at least with Kidd and Gabriel, you'll get some athleticism and some high-flying moves in there.
Yeah,
so, it's a little better than Cobra.
No, I'm with you, but for your standard pre-show, for your standard person who watches WWE, they're just not going to be interested.
No, not at all.
They're not going to be cared. Like, I appreciate Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel are a lot better options, but for your standard, people would probably rather watch Santino and Zack Ryder. I'm not kidding you.
God, that's sad that we're able to say that Zack Ryder's a bigger name than anyone.
Yeah, but Zack Ryder's just not. He's not even been. Where's Zack Ryder been? He's just. I'm surprised. I could genuinely see him end up being released.
Well, but that's the thing. I mean, as far as Zack Ryder goes, we've seen the Cobra versus three-man band match before. I mean, they've kind of had this feud building, I guess you could say. It hasn't been on anyone's minds really, but they did have a few matches and some interferences. I think that's really how the three-man band started. Was they started attacking Santino and Zack Ryder. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, you're right. They would do a 3-on-1 on Ryder or a 3-on-1 on Santino for a few weeks, and then I want to say they had like a blow-off match or something at Raw, if you want to call it that. Yeah, right. So it made sense that they would have some kind of match at the pay-per-view, and I'm kind of curious as to why it switched. Maybe there's some injury or I don't know.
Santino or Zack Ryder been injured.
I'm just speculating. I don't know.
I know you don't. I know. To be fair, I know you don't. I'm just teasing you really more than anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's weird that they dropped the last minute, but I do think this is a better match personally.
Yeah, and I know.
It's one I'm interested in.
I know what you're saying, Garv, but the problem is, Zack Ryder is he's got 850,000 Twitter followers. All he has to do is just tweet that he's in a pre-show, and potentially WWE could get even a tenth of them, and that would be decent enough.
Oh yeah, that match would draw Cobra versus 3MB would definitely draw better. This is just going to be a better match.
Yeah, this is going to be a better wrestling match, no doubt. But in terms of getting viewers, which is pretty much all they really care about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, when you have basically two joke teams facing each other, that's not really interesting enough to throw on a pre-show. So, but I do want to say that in the live chat, McBrad's95 is saying that it was actually announced Wednesday night that this match was taking place. But I just watched SmackDown this morning, and they were still saying it was Cobra. So I don't know. We're all confused. WWE is obviously confused of what they're trying to do. And this isn't the first Survivor Series match that they've changed last minute.
I'm confused.
All right, so let's go with predictions. Mike, you've got three-man band right now?
Yes, I do.
Rob, you're also going three-man band. Lee, you're also going three-man band. All right, I'm gonna go with you. I like the team of Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel, but there's been absolutely no build-up for them. They've been trying to build up three-man band, And, for me, I think it's just an obvious win for them.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. I mean, there's no reason Tyson Kidd and Gabriel need the win. Well, they do need the win, but there's no reason storyline-wise they would get the win. So quite simply, the three-man ban. It's not even a choice, this, to be fair. It really isn't. For me, it's not.
All right, well, that's good enough for me. Let's move on to the traditional Survivor Series match. This is the 5-on-5, Team Ziggler versus Team Foley. We don't know if they're going to change out Cody Rhodes yet, but regardless, who do you guys got?
I think this is a... Oh, go on. Someone else take the lead.
I'm still sticking with Team Ziggler on this one.
I kept flipping and flopping. I didn't know who to go with. Originally, it's kind of in my mind that, the Miz face turn might be a red herring and that he'll turn on his team, but, then they announced Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for, next Wednesday's main event. So it's making me think that this Miz face turn might stick, and I keep going back and forth, but, make a prediction today. I think I'm going to go with Team Foley.
I'm going to go with Mike as well, and it is pretty much for that reason. Because the Miz face turn, and it looks like it seems to be sticking, and also because Randy Orton's in that team, pretty much guarantees for me they're going to win. I would love for Wade Barrett to win, but the fact that he's got Del Rio by his side makes me worry. I don't like Del Rio.
But when you look at it, at Team Ziggler, Del Rio's really the only weak link at the moment. Meanwhile, you've got Kofi, who WWE has been going back and forth with what they want to do. You've got Team Hell No, which the WWE's been trying to push, but they're not exactly a cohesive unit on the same page with each other. And you've got Orton and The Miz, who are thrown into the mix there too. To me, Team Foley looks unstable, to say the least.
But they deliberately need to push Kofi in the right way, and they need to give him wins. And in my mind, Ziggler can take the loss because we all know he's going to cash in at some point. The Rhodes Scholars, well, Cody Rhodes might not even be there, so that could be another excuse. ADR, just don't even get me started on him. And Wade Barrett is the only one I would say that really need the win, but I just don't think they're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and I'm looking at both teams. Really, I think the addition of Miz here makes it almost a lock that Team Foley wins, just because of how they're trying to push him, and that's also being talked about in the live chat. Diva Jill throws out to really push the Miz, full on face. They should make him the sole survivor. Do you guys think that might work out too?
Oh,
I'm going to say
definitely.
I'm going to say no. I don't think they will. I think it will. I think it'll be Orton and The Miz who will remain. I think Team Hell No will go. Kofi will go. I think Orton and The Miz will be the last ones. Because I just can't see them throwing out Randy Orton. I can't see them eliminating him. Because it is Randy Orton.
Well, he's getting ready to go film a movie or something, isn't he?
No?
No, he just got back from filming.
Oh, he just got back from filming. Okay.
You got me worried there.
There's a lot of talk that
I don't pay attention to the
there's
WWE that much. Last I heard, he was making a movie.
There's a lot of talk about a Randy Orton heel turn coming up very soon.
There is.
Yeah, I mean there's
good.
Well, if you want to do a Randy Orton heel turn, having The Miz be the sole survivor would be a good time to do that. You have Miz do the face turn. He ends up the sole survivor. Orton can attack him after the match, and next Monday on Raw, Orton can come out and bitch about The Miz trying to upstage him.
I would say that, but I think it's just too early. I think The Miz has only just started to turn face, so he's not fully there yet. So I think he needs to wait one more pay-per-view for that. Because I just think it's too early in the turn for. So if Randy Orton, say, RKO's The Miz, it'll come across as The Miz being heel again rather than Orton turning heel.
Well, there's a way you could do it. You could have Team Ziggler take out Kofi and Hell No, and maybe leave Randy Orton laid out on the apron. Miz is the fresh guy in the ring, and it's him versus all 5 members of Team Ziggler. He fights them out. Maybe he takes out Rhodes Scholars and ADR or something. He gets ready to make that hot tag to Randy Orton, who gives him an RKO and then just walks away. And, kind of leaves Miz. And either from there you can have Miz still fights off the heels and wins, or he gets pinned there. That could be how you could cement that face turn and have Randy Orton be,
I don't feel
as well.
I still think they're gonna just turn the Miz pretty. It looks like they're turning him slowly rather than straight away though. And I would say that I think
based on what I saw in Cleveland, I mean, granted it was his hometown, but he was cutting some good, face promos there. He was thanking the fans, and I mean,
I know. But to be fair,
it seemed very over the top, which has me think that the face turn is a red herring. But I mean, he was cutting some good babyface promos there, and people were really behind him.
I think because you're in Cleveland, you need to wait for the next event, and then we can decide.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case too. I mean, yes, he did cut some good babyface promos, but we're going to need to be a little patient to see how this turns out. But I definitely think that Orton will be the catalyst in Miz going full face. I think they'll do the double switch, if you can call it that. So
I do think.
Even when Miz was full on heel, he got people cheering him in Cleveland. It just happens in your hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he got a pretty good reaction down in at the Raw taping as well, when him and Kane beat Rhodes Scholars. I mean, he was getting some good reactions there too.
I still think that's just the start of the turn, though. I don't think he's not in character wise. He's not fully developed, a face persona just yet. Just in my mind,
All right. Well, let's briefly touch on the idea that maybe Cody Rhodes will be replaced. There's been some names that have been thrown out there, like Tensai, which I think was reported on WrestlingNewsSource.com. If they do replace him, do you see that having any impact whatsoever on the outcome of this match, according to your predictions?
No, for me, so. No.
Now, if they put Tensai in instead of Cody Rhodes, given the losing streak that Tensai's been on lately and the way WWE's been, for lack of a better term, unsure of what they want to do with him, I see it hurting Team Ziggler more than helping them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you throw a Tensai in there, that's pretty much marking that team to lose, going by the history. So, all right. So, predictions-wise, all of us are pretty much saying Team Foley. Joe and Harrison are still going with Team Ziggler to win, and the live chat seems to be kind of mixed, but mostly on the Team Foley side. So, all right.
What about Jack Swagger? I think he would be a decent enough replacement. I mean, he's been off TV long enough to where if he came back, he'd be semi-credible.
Yeah, that was one name that was thrown out. Another name that I saw was Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Mark Henry is not the right guy for that match.
I think they'll hold off Henry until the Royal Rumble to bring him back.
Yeah, and I don't see Swagger being brought back in this capacity either.
I don't know what they're doing with. I'm not even sure Swagger is going to be there at the end. I get the impression they're just. I don't really know what they're doing with him. I don't know if they are deliberately waiting or I don't know.
I mean, he still goes on the house show circuit.
Yeah, I know he does.
He's been wrestling house shows, so I mean.
But so does.
It's not like they're sitting at home.
Yeah, but what you've got to remember is so does fucking Yoshi Tatsu. And the chances of him surviving the next cut are small.
Some other names being thrown out in the live chat. Either member of the Primetime Players, maybe even pulling out Sandow altogether if Rhodes can't compete. and just have primetime players there because they're not booked right now. Maybe Michael McGillicuddy as well.
No.
I was thinking that they'd bring in
Michael
Ricardo.
McGillicuddy.
They're bringing who?
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Alberto Del Rio maybe, declares himself now the captain of the team, or, threatens to walk off unless Ricardo's in the ring with him, or, then you come up with some reason.
That's a great thought, because when I was watching SmackDown, that's the first thing I thought of was, it'd be awesome if Ricardo just stepped in. Because I think I read somewhere that he is competing at house shows and dark matches against Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio in a mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was stuff though, like, do you remember, it must have been a few months ago now, there was talk, of just, of him breaking off from Del Rio. Whatever happened to that?
I don't know, it seems like they've really toned down, the comedy that he does, too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind him. He got annoying when he was with Santino, I can't lie, but, I think he could definitely survive being without Alberto. He looks like the type of guy who could wrestle.
He fits Alberto Del Rio's gimmick too well, though.
I mean, the thing with Del Rio is they've killed. I don't know if there is anyone WWE more killed than Del Rio. His gimmick is so boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly.
I think that they breathed a little bit of life into him when he was feuding with Orton. He was showing a little bit more personality. Claiming to be the new Apex Predator and doing his mannerisms and stuff. I thought they were breathing new life into him, but I mean, now he's back to the same old Alberto Del Rio. He's a guy who maybe has to go away for a few months, even though he's been, he just got back from being gone for a few months.
Well, I think that's partially because of Survivor Series itself. Because they're involved in this match, he can't really break out individually because he's involved in this. I think if he wasn't involved in the Survivor Series, he'd have more opportunities to set himself apart.
Yeah, but it's the same formula dealt with Del Rio. It was like the day after the pay-per-view where he lost, let's feed him some jobber. No, it was Justin Gabriel. Justin Gabriel had just lost an Intercontinental title match, and then he got squashed by Del Rio. And then Del Rio faced someone else the next week, then shot a promo on the guy he was going to face. Then he looked good building up to the pay-per-view, and then he lost at the pay-per-view. It was the same formula, and it was just so boring.
It's part of the problem with WWE's booking process. Everything has to be 50-50. He'll lose at the pay-per-views, but he'll win every week on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, but the fact that he won every week on Raw and SmackDown, he was so... It didn't create any interest for me at all. None. And the fact that he's got to that point really worries me about his future, because I'm pretty sure it's not just me who finds him boring.
No, it's not just you.
And
yeah, Twitter's a hate fest when he comes out.
I know, but that surely that must worry. That WWE must see that. They must see that. The fact that
that brings us back to to one of the core problems with the WWE, which is Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit what the fans think. WWE will say, this is what we want to do. We don't care if the fans like it or not.
I do feel that they need to pay attention more now than ever to what is going on with the fans. I really do. I think this is kind of crucial for WWE now, because it had with John, especially when John Cena was injured. If CM Punk would have got injured at exactly the same time, I don't even know what would have happened. I think they were fucked.
I agree with you. This is a critical point, and with companies like TNA who do listen to their fans starting to build some momentum, WWE is going to have to learn to adapt and actually give a shit what their fans think about them.
I mean, but it's not even that. I mean, I genuinely do think they give a shit. I do think they give a shit, but I don't think they just don't pay enough attention to. They focus on stupid things.
If they care, they do a horrible job of showing it.
I just think that the process of stories is just so wrong at the minute. Like when there's a report going around saying that they copied off TNA and stuff like that, they focused on all the wrong things with TNA and put it into their product.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's genuinely weird.
Well, speaking of things that no one gives a shit about, except for us maybe, is the Divas Championship match, Eve versus Caitlin Lee.
Nice segue there, Garvin.
Who do you go with this match?
Well, the only way the Divas division can... I mean, there's another report going... I know I keep referring to reports. There's another report going around saying that NXT Divas are going up into the main WWE division, which would be a godsend at the minute.
I've been seeing that for a while, though.
Yeah, I know, but I hope this time they actually make do on it. But I'd say Eve sticks. I don't know where the fuck Rob and Harrison get off, but I don't know how Caitlyn is even close to winning the title, so it's got to be Eve for me.
Rob?
Well, I picked Caitlyn initially because I'm an idiot and I keep thinking that WWE gives a shit about a wrestler's actual ability, and Caitlyn's a much better wrestler than Eve when it comes to in-ring moveset. And then I remember that, no, the WWE really doesn't give a shit. I also think that there are a lot better things that the WWE could use Eve for, but I haven't seen any evidence yet, especially from watching SmackDown and everything. I haven't seen any evidence that they're ready to put the title on Caitlyn, so I'm going to change my vote and go with Eve winning.
Dun, dun, dun. I think Eve is a pretty good hand in the ring. I think she's one of the better divas that they have. Caitlyn is just too new and too green.
I'm not saying Eve is a bad wrestler. I just think that from the few Caitlyn matches I've seen, I think she has better potential and better talent than Eve. And given the fact that the WWE gives less than a shit about the Divas Championship anyways.
Yeah.
And with them busy pirating storylines from TNA, it would be a great thing to do their version of the Miss Tessmacher. Hey, let's put the title on a rookie who doesn't deserve the belt yet. That'd be a great idea, right, guys?
Do you not think, though, if WWE put some actual focus onto the story that they give the Divas, that this might be a better match? Like genuinely, all WWE have to do is just build one good story. It's literally all they have to do.
Well, they would even have to go back farther than that and try to get divas who can actually work instead of divas that look like they're fresh off a stripper pole.
Mike's got a good point. That the first thing WWE needs to do is get women wrestlers who can actually wrestle, are actually fucking wrestlers.
I know,
the second thing, but even neglecting that, with the matches they've had, even with the current divas they've got a storyline goldmine that they could pick and choose from. They could build the Divas division into one of their stronger divisions, but they just have absolutely no will to do that.
They had Kelly, who came in stripping from 2006, and they turned her when they went just before they went PG. They turned her, and she didn't turn out a bad wrestler. You know, she was alright. She eventually got there. I mean, she was shit at first.
Can you say that
she
again?
has 3 moves.
And then the next day she was released.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The day she learned how to work, the next day she was released.
Yeah, but she ended up being one of the more popular WWE divas of the last 10 years. Everyone, if you said to someone who's Kelly, they would know. And it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Like, it's scary.
But the scary thing to me about the Divas division is that the women wrestlers get popular for things outside of wrestling. Kelly during the height of her popularity could not wrestle to save her life. But she was popular because fill in the blank. It's the same with at least 3 or 4 other women wrestlers that I can think of that have been exceptionally popular in WWE, but know absolutely jack shit about wrestling. They get popular because the WWE tells the fans, you should like this person.
Yeah, but you've got divas out there who can wrestle and who look good at the same time. That's all they realistically need. Matt Hardy's girlfriend is a great example of that. She's pretty good looking, and to be fair, and she can wrestle pretty damn well. You've got people over in here and gone.
Yeah, they occasionally get it right with some of the divas.
Lost. Mickie James looks pretty good. Is a damn good wrestler. She needs to lay off of her stupid fucking thighs press off the top turnbuckle, but aside from that, the WWE used to have strong women wrestlers, and then they decided to get away from that for some reason or another.
Yeah, but a lot of times those divas would get big heads to them. You'd have someone like, Sable and Chyna or Deborah or, whoever the hell else, who, they become popular, and then all of a sudden they think that they're bigger than the product and become a pain in Vince McMahon's ass, and he gets rid of them. Mickie James was another one. She started to get an attitude about her, and, they tried to put her in her place with the Piggy James angle, and, that didn't motivate her or anything, and they got rid of her. And
look.
I was thinking when the show started, I think during the pre-show, I was looking over the doc, and I was kind of thinking to myself, there's not too many divas that they ever bring back that leave, go do something else, and then come back and do another run. I want to say Sable's the only person who's ever really come back after leaving.
Gail Kim came back after leaving.
But yeah, she did, but she wasn't really she wasn't popular when she left or anything, and she was relatively just starting out her career. It's not like she had a 5-year run on top with WWE and then went to TNA.
Sure.
But you can't say that about but there have been other wrestlers that WWE either A, didn't seem to have that problem with, or B, if they had that problem with, it was because they created it. Lita and Trish Stratus stand out to me. When you listen to the WWE talk about her, you would think that Trish Stratus is like the goddess of wrestling, of women in wrestling, the best woman wrestler who ever lived, period. And if you dare to argue with us, we'll shoot you.
But the thing is, in WWE, I think she is. I think she's the best WWE diva wrestler that they ever had.
I would concur with that. But my point is, sometimes the WWE kind of makes their own monster with both male and female wrestlers. They tell these wrestlers that you are the end-all, be-all, and then they're surprised when the wrestler gets a big head.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Oh yeah, I mean, Vince, really encourages that. He's always doing that, playing those games with his wrestlers. I mean, that's nothing new.
Right.
Or even turning them against each other.
Have we noticed though? Sorry. It was my mic more than anything that was causing it. But have we noticed how we get to the top? How we get these wrestlers? There is a pattern, and it is. Look at AJ. Look, how did AJ get to the top? She was involved in a big storyline, and she was a crazy bitch, and she got to the top like that. And now she's effectively. No, she was effectively like that. It's very important
to include that she's a crazy bitch.
Go back
the music
to.
Up.
How did Lita start?
She started with the Hardy Boys, or she got big with the Hardy Boys.
She started off with Matt Hardy until she. But that storyline wasn't an actual storyline. She was actually fucking Edge.
Yeah. She actually was.
The WWE just said, well, since we've got this embarrassing little problem and it's gotten out, we might as well turn it into a storyline.
Oh, no. I meant like years before.
Yeah. When she first started, she came in with the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, she originally started with a guy, Papi Chulo, I think. I forget.
S.A. Rios.
Yeah. She was with him for a cup of coffee and then switched over to the Hardy Boys. And I mean, she was with them for a year, and I mean, it got to a point where she was the most popular part of that team. You'd have a Hardy Boys match, and Matt's dead in the ring trying to make a hot tag, and all you can hear the crowd chanting is Lita.
Yeah. They don't give a shit about the Hardy Boys. It's, well, Lita's out here, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, who saw that?
But look how did Trish start then?
Trish started off with TNA, Test and Albert. She came in as their
SNL.
manager right before WrestleMania 2000. She was with them for a while, and then inexplicably she started her relationship with Vince McMahon.
Right.
That went through WrestleMania 17, and then she blew out her knee and was gone for about 6 or 9 months. Came in, won the defunct Divas title,
And
women's title, and then she started off. She wasn't a great wrestler to start, but she really came into her own. She really put all of her effort into learning how to work
and then for the crazy bitch segment, that was Mickey James's first angle when she came in. She came in as like this crazed fan obsessed with Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, there is a simple way to get divas over, and honestly, if you stick them in a big angle storyline and put them over, and then obviously if they learn to wrestle on the way, or even if they've already been able to wrestle, that diva is now effectively over. Like Lita became with Edge, and she was just she became the bitch of WWE. She was absolutely destroyed, and every arena went to booed her like mad. All WWE have to do is do. Come on.
And that's what ultimately ran her out of the business.
True, I'll give you that.
Because she got sick of, she would go out to, walk her dog or something. People are driving by yelling slut and whore at her.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad girl. It can be a face or whatever. But either way, it's either way, all they have to do is just create bring a new place into the storyline. Get her over with the crowd. Do 2 or 3 divas like that. All of a sudden, you've got someone interested in a divas title match.
Yeah, and that requires consistency because they started to do that with Tamina, and they were really pushing her as Jimmy Snuka's daughter, and she's gonna be great. And then she stopped getting TV time. Then Caitlyn happened, and they took her off TV for a while, and then now they're bringing her back, and she doesn't have the same amount of energy that she did before. But just to go back to something you said hours ago, Mike, which was, Caitlyn is still not she's not there. She's not championship material yet overall, like her wrestling quality. But it's good to see someone new, someone young come in and be given an opportunity in the spotlight, and that's what they're giving her. But I don't think she will get the win. I think it's still too early for her, and Eve will retain. So I'm gonna agree with all of you as far as Eve's winning. Harrison is the only one that is backing Caitlyn.
I don't know why. For me, she can't cut a promo yet, and that's just my thing.
Yeah, and just to reference some posts that we posted on our Facebook page, there was one for the Divas Champions predictions. It seems like it was like 50-50. Like some people were still trying to back Caitlyn, while others were saying that it's too soon. Eve will retain. The live chat is pretty much the same way, although they're mostly leaning towards Eve retaining. But
not that it matters anything to WWE, but I think the real money matches between Eve and AJ, and
right.
I'm hoping that they keep the title on Eve long enough to be able to do that match instead of flipping and flopping to make it happen.
Why not create a big feud between AJ and Eve? How good would that be?
Well,
be good.
As far as match quality, I think that works, but I think you have to keep Caitlyn in there. She still has the attachment to Eve, and she was doing the best friend backstage stuff with AJ before, so there's a good story there too if they keep those 3 together. Mm-hmm. Layla does not fit in though. She can leave, right?
They need to either bring back Michelle McCool or put Layla on the chopping block there.
I was never for Michelle McCool. I never really thought she excelled.
Thank you, Lee.
Oh my God, I thought Lay Cool for a period of time. I thought Lay Cool was the hottest heels WWE had, and I thought they were the best act they had for most of 2010. I could not get enough of them. Yeah,
I agree. For a while, they did very good. Once they split them up, it was neither one of them. I thought were great.
I never thought Michelle McCool looked brilliant. I mean, she was good. Don't get me wrong, she was good, but I never thought she was, on the level. I
thought she had good mic work, and I thought she was really good in the ring, and she was able to draw heat. I mean, she was for a diva. Oh my god, she was really good at that.
Don't get me wrong. I would take her any day now after this. What's going on now. But I never thought. I never thought she was up there. To be honest.
From the live chat, lay cool suck. Beautiful people, we're the best. All right. Let's move on to the U.S. Championship match. Antonio Cesaro defends against R-Truth unanimously, except for you, Lee. You have not given your pick yet. But we are all saying Cesaro will retain. Lee, who are you going with?
Well,
I'm going with Little Jimmy.
Fuck you. I struggle how you can vote for R-Truth. I struggle how you can vote for him. I mean, how do you do?
I started off my
no
impression
reason.
going, and the first thing Lee says is, well,
It was pretty spot on.
I give my answers. That's all I care about. If I give my answer, I don't care.
All right, so
yeah, it's gonna be an awkward pause now.
any chance R-Truth retains? Any chance?
R-Truth retains.
Or I'm sorry, wins. Mike?
no, I don't think so.
Rob?
Nope.
All right, so unanimous. We're going with it. Everyone in the live chat is pretty much the same way, and also on our Facebook page, pretty much everyone is going with Cesaro as well.
Our truth is this month's comedy figure challenge. He's the comedy figure challenger of the month.
All right, let's.
Whatever happened to R-Truth very quickly? Whatever happened?
That was something else that was discussed. Like it's so weird. We were really hyped up on the idea that they were going to start pushing R-Truth, and he was going to be this big thing, and he was, possibly going to feud for the WWE Championship, and then he was involved in the whole, the biggest storyline that was going on at the time a year ago, and now he's basically nothing. It is a huge drop off, but it's not necessarily Miz level drop off as far as going from top to bottom right away. It's just like he was pushed to the top, but he was never really given that opportunity.
I honestly don't. I think it was worse than the Miz, because at least the Miz was the WWE champion, and he did fall very badly. But R-Truth kind of never, he never picked the ball up. Like, he got suspended after Survivor Series. Yeah, he got suspended after Survivor Series.
Yeah.
He never recovered. His gimmick is just awful. It's genuinely awful.
I thought that they had something good with R-Truth and The Miz after Hell in a Cell last year when they did that big beatdown of CM Punk and Cena in the ring, and and the whole locker room was out trying to break it up, and no one could get into the cell. I thought, oh my god, they got so much heat on these guys, and then they just never followed it up. They fined them $100 million. Yeah, they did that walkout. Well, first they fired R-Truth and Miz for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They took them off TV, which I think that killed them as well. That was just stupid. Yeah. They should have at least had them, run in or sit in the crowd or do something. But they took them off TV. Then they got squashed by The Rock, and then it was that wellness violation. And R-Truth really hasn't. Yeah, I mean he had a decent run with Kofi. I mean, I guess that was okay, but yeah, they never really picked up with Truth and where he was a year or 15 months ago.
I loved the walkout. You remember when there was on Triple H, Cena, Punk, and Sheamus left? I loved that. And then Laurinaitis came in and ruined the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally ruined it. How good would it have been? Like, on a serious note, for just them four to run Raw for about an hour? I honestly think that could have been some genuinely interesting TV.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of ruined it with fucking John Laurinaitis coming out.
Yeah, they really could have tried something different with that, and I really don't know what they were thinking to have it only last 20 minutes.
I know, it lasted 20 minutes. How pathetic is that? 20 people. I remember it being genuinely interested at the time. What are they doing? It kept my attention. And then I remember something like 1 million viewers tuned out, and Johnny Ace was like Dean GM. And it was just, honestly, I think the rating was something like a 3.4 at the start, and then it tumbled down to about a 2.9 by the end. It was, oh god. Sorry to go off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, there's the history of R-Truth in the last few months.
Yeah.
Last year.
I just think that he's another guy that really could be up there, which isn't.
Yeah, he can work really well in the ring, but it's mostly a thing where we tend to like him more when he's a heel and somewhat edgy, but when he's being the face and just trying to work the crowd, it doesn't come off well.
And I think part of it is he's getting up there in age too, and he might be at that age where he just wants to, sell T-shirts and make money, with the little Jimmy gimmick.
But I do feel
simple as that.
I do feel like he could now though he could still turn and just say, I'm fed up with this shit, whatever, and that is his moment. I genuinely feel he could do that if he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm gonna slightly disagree with Garvin here. I think one of the things that makes R-Truth a good wrestler is the fact that he's that rare wrestler who can do heel or face and get at least a decent response from the crowd. I remember not too long ago when he was pretty much a face, and he'd come out with the "What's Up" gimmick and rapping on his way to the ring, and that got good responses from the crowd. The problem was after he got into the ring, the crowd went fucking dead.
Mm-hmm. Funny story about his whole "What's Up" gimmick. I was at a buddy's house and we couldn't understand what the hell he was saying, so we tried turning on the closed captions, and it just had like the little music symbol. Like even the closed captioner had no idea what R-Truth was saying.
That's awesome. We don't know what he's saying. That is great.
Incoherent black man in parentheses.
All right, well,
in parentheses.
Before we go into the two main events, if you want to call them that, the World Championship and WWE Championship, we should note that there's only 5 matches right now that have been booked outside of the pre-show. So it's likely that they'll book something else along the way. So maybe a Brodus Clay versus a random low carder or JTG. Maybe another tag team match, or what I was thinking was maybe you throw Ray Cara, PTP, Cobra, and Epico and Primo in a match for number 1 contendership or something to push the tag team division. Lee, what do you think that they'll add as a filler match, if anything?
I don't think they'll add Brodus Clay. I genuinely feel I'm sorry you've done that. I don't think Brodus Clay is TV worthy anymore. I genuinely think he could be in trouble because his gimmick is just gone. Like, it's died. It's good for kids, but it's not TV. It's not ratings drawing. The whole fun of it has gone. It's now been 11 months doing the same thing pretty much. It's just lame. It's dead, as far as I'm concerned. So I genuinely don't think he will be on this pay-per-view. I think it's going to be something to do with Ray and Sin Cara, primetime players maybe. It won't be Cobra. No way. Epico and Primo maybe.
Disgust.
No, it won't.
When you say Cobra, you're like, not Cobra.
It's such a shit tag team. It really is. It's making Zack Ryder more of a joke than he already is.
Mm-hmm.
Why team him with Santino? He's the one whinging about not being on Raw, not being taken seriously. You team up with Santino, for Christ's sake. How the fuck do I expect to be taken seriously? It really annoys me.
Mike, do you agree with the idea of Ray Cara versus primetime players? You think that'll be added?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely try to put Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara on that card somewhere. Who they fight, who knows? But yeah, definitely Rey and Sin Cara, I think will be added in some kind of match. I agree 100% with Leon Brodus Clay. He's just such a non-factor right now in WWE. I don't see why they would give him any kind of specialty match unless they have some hot heel that they want to put over and have Clay job to that heel. I don't know. Maybe Drew McIntyre. I don't know if he's ready to come back by Survivor Series. Yeah, definitely not Brodus Clay. after 11 months, he just doesn't matter anymore. He's a guy I have no idea, what went wrong and why WWE got off the train with him, but that is just a derail.
Would you release him though?
No, I won't release him. I'd repackage him. I'd take him off TV again for a few months and try to bring him back. Maybe this time do the monster heel that they were hinting at a year ago.
I was going to say, is that not what they did before? They literally took him off TV for a bit.
It's funny that a year ago they were doing these vignettes for Brodus Clay. I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I am Brodus. He's come back all angry that he wasn't on TV, and then he does the dancing idiot gimmick. And then a year ago they were doing those weird Chris Jericho vignettes that turned out to have nothing to do with his character. I would do a quality audit of who decides to come up with these promos and why they just go in the opposite direction of what they're showing on there. It just baffles me.
Well, I don't understand why they almost cut from what we expect to do. Like anything that we think they're going to do, they do the complete opposite, just to think that to put us in shock.
They think that predictability is the worst thing in the world.
Like, honest to God, sometimes I would rather do it. I would rather have predictability. So annoying.
Like even last year at the Royal Rumble, it was Chris Jericho was supposed to win, and they changed the finish of the match to Sheamus winning. Why? Because people thought it was too predictable that Jericho would win. It made sense. It was the right thing to do. Who cares if everybody predicted it? Do what's right for business. Don't just, cut off your nose to spite your face. For the sake of, shock everyone.
That's what gets me really annoyed, though. The fact that they go the complete opposite way just to fuck us off. Why? Like, it's so annoying, and it just makes no sense. Which is exactly what happened with Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay should have come as the monster heel, but because everyone predicted it on the internet, they just said, "Oh, we're going to shock you by bringing back this."
Let's bring out the black man and have him shuck and jive to the ring. There we go. That'll put asses in seats.
I think one of the things that hurt Brodus's intended gimmick too was he and Ryback came in at about the same time, or Ryback maybe came in a little bit earlier, but
Brodus had about a 4-month head start on him.
Okay.
Do you know what I think really hurt Brodus? Short-term booking hurt Brodus.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't know where they were going with it.
Right, and like you said, his gimmick hasn't changed in 11 months, so if you're above the age of 15, you have no interest in seeing the guy. It's just like, oh, he's coming out again.
Mm-hmm.
It's surely it must be annoying for a younger viewer though as well. You're fed up of seeing him just pretty much trounce everybody. Yeah. Surely. Like, if you're going to create interest in the guy, why not let him lose, and then the person who supports him is going to be pissed off and want to see him get revenge, and create a feud, or do the basics.
They tried doing that when they turned Big Show heel, but they just never gave Brodus Clay his revenge. Big Show knocked him out, and then knocked him out again, and then knocked him out again, and Brodus Clay just kind of smiling and dancing to the ring.
Yeah, and the next week they just did
that's okay. You can punch me as many times as you want. I'm still gonna dance.
Yeah, it was like the next week just continue the whole as if nothing happened. Mad, absolutely mad.
So I think if they book another match, I think Mike hit it right on the head. We're gonna see Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara against one of the other tag teams, and Rey and Sin Cara are probably going to win.
Yeah, I imagine they will push Rey and Sin Cara. I do like the idea that they're going to build them up to turn, and then at WrestleMania they have a match. I do like that idea, and I do hope they stick with it.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. I think the Rey Cara versus Primetime Players match works. I think it'd be the best match out of anything else that we can come up with. Although the 4-way is still attractive if they put, a number 1 contender spot on it.
Do you know what's going to really annoy me?
Where do you think they're going to go with this whole, oh gosh, what's that girl's name? Rosa and Alberto Del Rio. She keeps coming out, and, they keep giving each other notes and flowers and looks.
I think that could lead to what we were discussing before, which was the idea that they might split up Ricardo and ADR and have ADR go with Rosa Mendez.
Or if they had a devil's threesome.
Yeah.
Remember, though, no eye contact in a devil's three-way.
That could be genuinely awkward. It would be
like, what?
I'm not gonna lie though, I'd be a bit fucked off, to be honest, if that happened, because it would be pretty much let's be fair, it would be a joke of a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ricardo would come in and he would just ruin it. I'm not being funny, but it would be one of those just funny storylines that they just seem to think is hilarious when it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking Rosa Mendez versus Ricardo in a tuxedo match.
If you even mention tuxedo match again on this podcast, I'm going to. Honest to God, when they did that, I was. Oh God.
All right, let's move on to the World Championship match. Big Show versus Sheamus. They really started to build it up this week. I think this week on SmackDown was the strongest of the build because it really looked like they had some animosity towards one another, which is something they've alluded to in the past, but it really came off strong on SmackDown. So, Mike, you're going with Big Show. Why?
I really don't have a good reason for going with Big Show. I'd like to see Lee not get any FTW points, so I'm pretty biased there. I think they just might be going with a different direction with the world title. Keep it on Big Show. Maybe have Sheamus chase him for another month. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going with Big Show. I really can't explain why.
Rob, you're also going with Big Show. Do you have a reason why, or are you?
No, I'm not going with the Big Show.
You're reading that wrong.
Oh, I am reading that wrong. Okay, you're going with Sheamus.
My name starts with an R, which is by Sheamus.
You're looking at the Brodus Clay random low Carter match.
Yes. All right. So why are you going with Sheamus?
Well, initially I went with Sheamus because I didn't think they were going to take the belt off of him, especially given the fact that WWE really seems to hate to push the Big Show in these kind of big title matches for some reason. And after SmackDown, after seeing Sheamus move towards his, the persona he came in with, the big nasty Irishman, I think that's more of kind of writing on the wall that Sheamus is going to retain.
You mean win it back?
Yes, win it back too. That works.
All right, Lee, who you got?
I've got to say, I'm going to go with Big Show, quite simply because we know Triple H is starting to push longer title reigns, and there is no way you can lose to the Big Show after one month of having the belt. There's just no way you can do it. And plus, the fact that Sheamus had the upper hand going into the pay-per-view just says to me Big Show's going to win.
Yeah, but I was just about to bring that up too.
The rule of longer title reigns does not apply to the Big Show, who the WWE loves to fuck over every chance they get. They love to shit on him.
Where have you got this from? Where
have I gotten this from? I've gotten this from the Big Show's entire fucking career in the WWE.
I also think WrestleZone reported that.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's gotta be true.
Yeah, exactly. This is on an unrelated note, but WrestleZone said something like, so they found exclusive details regarding Kofi's injury, and I read it. I knew it was going to be a joke, and I read it, and it was exactly the same as what everybody else had reported, and you were there, Mike. Apart from it said something at the bottom like, he went to hospital.
Yeah, that was their insight.
I was like, well, clap, well done. Hey, it was a joke. Anyway, back onto the match. I don't understand where you're coming from. With they've really fucked over the Big Show because I don't really think they have. Have they?
It seems like he always chases the title, but always slips on a banana peel when it comes to winning it. You know, his feud with Daniel Bryan last year, where he failed to, he had quite a few chances to win the title, wasn't able to do it. The year before with Jack Swagger, where he couldn't even put away Jack Swagger. It seems like they always, not that they really fuck him over. It just seems like he just kind of has like a choker gimmick to him.
Yeah, they do good at getting him really great feuds. The WWE does really good at matching him up with other people and having a really big feud, but he always just seems to come up on the short end of a lot of the feuds. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And just about every time he's gone for the title, he, like Mike said, he just always comes up short.
Do you not think he's more used like that because of the fact that he is 7'2", 500 pound, whatever you want to bill him as? He's that kind of guy, and he almost people expect him to win, so then they make him lose, so it makes the other guy look better, rather than being fucked over.
Yeah, I'll revise my statement a little bit. I think the WWE uses him to help push other athletes, but and to his credit, the Big Show seems to be perfectly fine with doing that. But at the same point in time, I think it's hurt his character and his credibility a couple of times. There have been a couple of times where I thought they really should have let him win, that the WWE didn't. That's kind of what I was alluding to with the fucked over comment.
Yeah, by the way, the live chat is pointing out that beating Big Show for titles is the rite of passage for building stars.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like with Big Show, they just have to keep rebuilding him so often because they just kind of it's like they kind of like just lose their focus with him.
Yeah, one match in particular stands out to me. I think it was a couple of years ago. He was fighting The Undertaker in a Last Man Standing match, and The Undertaker couldn't get up, and he couldn't get up so badly that the referee actually stopped counting and told Undertaker, "You need to get up now." It's like helping him up. It was a god-awful botch, but somehow the Big Show got blamed for it. It's like, no, I'm an Undertaker fan as much as the next guy, but he couldn't get his ass up.
By the way, just to know, first, I'm also going to go with Big Show. I think they've built him well, but there always seems to be like one moment and how they build him up that does kind of throw it back in his face. And I don't know if you guys noticed this on SmackDown, but in that backstage segment with Booker T, they basically made him look weak and scared of Sheamus because he asked Booker T, did you book me against Sheamus? But he asked it in a way that made it look like he was afraid of Sheamus. I thought it was really strange that they just threw that in there.
Well, that's just all that is just creating doubt into the title match. So it makes it look like Big Show's vulnerable, which makes it look like there could be a title change, which will encourage people to buy the pay-per-view. It's pretty simple.
And I mean, they should have, with Big Show being a heel, he should, have to show a little ass. Have him be just, a little afraid of Sheamus, or make it seem like he is dodging him, like he's, being a heel about it. I didn't really have too much of a problem with that. Now, if he was running out of the arena with his arms flailing, that'd be another thing.
Sure.
But I had no problem with him, trying to avoid the match with Sheamus for the night.
I have to be honest, when people, I don't know where I read this, I can't remember, but when people say, oh, I don't really like that Sheamus has been or Big Show has been looked vulnerable into the title match going into the pay-per-view, it makes him look too weak. Well, surely you've got to make Big Show have some doubt so it encourages it to buy the pay-per-view. Or am I just losing it? Because
I see that. I see that side of things, but me personally, if I were running a Fed, and I had somebody like the Big Show, I would go the opposite way. I would make him look. I would do as good a job as I could of making him of playing to the stereotype of the huge giant. You know, it worked. The gimmick worked for Andre the Giant, making him look huge, making him look unbeatable. You know, and let that try to sell. You know, push the David versus Goliath aspect. Will, you know, the smaller guy find a way to beat this big ass son of a bitch?
My argument with that is it's now a different world to what it was when Andre the Giant was there. I don't think they can use the David versus Goliath gimmick because I think almost everyone's kind of expecting David to win. But you know, everyone kind of expects it.
I'm not saying that my way would work or is better. I'm just saying that's how I would approach it because it's a little bit more believable.
No.
And part of the thing with Andre the Giant was he was so protected in his gimmick of being a giant to where Vince wouldn't let any wrestler who was comparable in size with him stand next to him until I think they did some kind of body slam contest with Big John Studd. But you know, until then, Andre he always went against smaller guys that he just towered over. Now with the Big Show,
right?
Guys like Undertaker, Kane, who are, you know, just as big. You know, even Sheamus. You know, it's not like Big Show is so much bigger than he is.
Right. The iconic image was for so long was Hulk Hogan looking up at Andre the Giant, like, how the hell am I going to take this guy down? And Vince McMahon really pushed that.
I have to say, the one issue with doing that, and I get very annoyed at this to the day, is when they do the little segment that they always do in Big Show matches, where they make a massive deal of lifting the Big Show up. And don't get me wrong, it is very impressive. Please don't get me wrong on that. But the fact that it's been done so many times, and it's mostly John Cena, I can't lie. When John Cena picks him up,
it's mostly John Cena, yeah.
They make it look like as if it's just never happened before. Like, I understand building it because it is good, it's impressive, but they just build it as if it's never ever happened before. Jesus Christ, it's happened like 20 million times now.
Yeah, and especially when Cena's the one doing it again, they're like, "Holy shit, Cena's!" I'm like, "You've seen Cena lift the guy 500 times."
Well, here's the thing, like it's impressive when he gets him up for an attitude adjustment, but like. Yeah, like Sheamus has just been lifting him up like on a whim the last month and a half, and you know that's what's not impressive. You know, where Brock Lesnar F5ing him, you know, that's impressive, but you know, just like a body slam or choke slam, you know, that's nothing.
The funniest bit is when during the start of the match when he struggles to lift him up and then drops him. It's like, come on, come on. It is. It's just like. We all know you're going to pick him up. Just pick him up if you're going to pick him up.
And in reality, he could probably pick up 4 Big Shows.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he lifts like stupid amount of weights. Like it's crazy what he lifts.
All right, so Big Show versus Sheamus. Everyone but Rob says Big Show's going to win. Rob, you also say that Dolph will cash in. Why do you think Dolph will cash in?
Because if he does, I get an extra point, and it doesn't cost me anything to say that.
We must have had this conversation
I'm honest.
Every single pay-per-view. We must have seriously had this conversation every pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, you have to. I mean, he's got the opportunity to, but yeah, I don't see it happening either. Harrison does.
I know, but
I doubt he will, but on the off chance that he cashes in, I get an extra point, so hey.
Can I also point out that Harrison has Caitlyn beating Eve?
Yeah. And let's be honest, it's Harrison overall.
Yeah,
so, all right, so the other thought I had about this match was, what about the possibility of adding a stipulation now, like on a Saturday night or Sunday morning? Do they add a stipulation to this, like a last man standing, or
No, I don't think so.
No.
But not with big gimmick pay-per-view coming up in a few weeks, where you know they'll be throwing out the stipulations like candy. No, I don't think they add anything tomorrow night.
Oh, go on, Rob.
The only way you'd add a stipulation to this, I think, and make it a gimmick match is to end a feud. You know, if this was the last time we were going to see Big Show versus Sheamus for a while, then I'd say, yeah, let's make it a last man standing match. That'd be great to do for the PG era. That would be great to do for the two wrestlers you've got. You can match up the bro kick versus the knockout punch. There's so many things you could do with last man standing between Big Show and Sheamus, but you have to save that for the match that is supposed to be the end of the feud.
The only way I see a stipulation being added is if they're going to cash Dolph in, if Dolph's going to cash in. Because if it was a last man standing match, they both knock the shit out of each other, and they both get to tang, and no, they're both still down, and then Dolph can just come along and pin the Big Show. Dead easy.
Yeah,
the only way I can
Lee's got a great point there, too.
All right, I'm just going over the predictions that we were sent over on Facebook and also on live chat, and it seems like a majority are saying that Big Show will retain. So let's move on to the WWE Championship match. CM Punk defends the title against John Cena and Ryback. Rob, you start. Who are you going with and why?
Well, I'm contractually obligated as a fellow Chicagoan to vote for CM Punk, so I'm giving my support to him.
All right, and I actually didn't have the doc open at the time I said that. But yeah, it seems like everyone is going with CM Punk for one reason or another. This also stems from our Facebook conversations about it. Absolutely no one sees John Cena walking away with the title or Ryback. It seems like everyone is backing the idea of CM Punk lasting a full year with the title and possibly going on, to Royal Rumble to take on The Rock for the title and that streak. So is that the direction you guys think that they're going to go as well?
Yeah, I think the WWE has a lot of interest in putting The Rock up against CM Punk, especially since for at least a year, if not longer, CM Punk has been running The Rock down. It makes sense to do, it makes sense to have The Rock come in and say, hey, you've been running your mouth about me for quite a while. Let's see you get in the ring and back it up.
See, I don't like that scenario. I really don't.
I don't like it either, but I see the WWE moving towards it.
I do, but I don't like it. I honestly think at the Royal Rumble it should be The Rock versus John Cena.
Again?
Yeah, because I don't like the idea of The Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania. I don't like it. I think it's just I think it's a cop out, really.
I don't think they're going to do The Rock Cena again. I think CM Punk will step up.
So who versus The Rock at WrestleMania then?
I think you tell The Rock to stay home from WrestleMania.
No, The Rock will definitely be at WrestleMania.
The Rock is wrestling at WrestleMania. So who do you put up if you're going to use CM Punk at the Royal Rumble? Who do you put? There's only one option. Then it's Cena again, and I would rather have him at Cena versus The Rock at the Royal Rumble, and then get the fresh match of The Rock versus CM Punk, the one we were actually waiting for at WrestleMania. Then you can build it up a lot longer.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as what other possible contenders there would be, you also have Brock Lesnar, who's being advertised for WrestleMania. He might fit into that match somehow.
If you can't put The Rock and Brock Lesnar together, you can't do that. The Rock has still been away too long, and Brock Lesnar, they're both part timers. You can't have two part timers going at each other. It's just a big no-no. You need someone in there to carry it.
So why can't we see CM Punk in that match?
No, you'd have Brock Lesnar versus. I would have. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar?
No, CM Punk versus The Rock.
And last year it seemed like two part-timers put on a pretty good match with Triple H and Undertaker.
Please don't. Just don't. No, but would you do the CM Punk versus The Rock at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble?
I think they could do either or, but to me it looks like they locked on their course last month when they had CM Punk over Ryback. I think that pretty much telegraphs what they're going to do. leading
do you
up
not
to
think?
WrestleMania.
Do you not think they've dropped the ball though a little bit?
With Punk?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Do you not think they could have
I
created
don't know.
more intrigue into this year? Because all the thing that's led to Survivor Series, CM Punk, Ryback, and John Cena have barely said a word to each other. They've barely said anything to each other, and they're facing each other all for the title. CM Punk is focused on his thingy.
Paul Heyman?
Thanks for joining us today, Lee.
yeah. But he's focusing on, I can't remember, someone else. Ryback's mainly focused on Brad Maddox and all that shit scenario. And John Cena was fully focused on AJ and, that shit storyline that's going on there, that mess. They've not really, and Dolph Ziggler, they've not really all
Yeah,
meshed.
I think they definitely changed gears when they initially announced Punk versus Foley.
They clearly copped out.
Yeah, I think they looked at that and saw the reaction, on Twitter and social media, and just kind of went, I don't think we can go with this, and quickly came up with that triple threat match as something else to add on to the show. Because if you took that match out of there, this would be a pathetic Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. But
you needed this WWE title match, and it makes sense storyline wise. I mean, you have CM Punk as two guys that he's been avoiding for the last. John Cena's a guy he's been avoiding giving a title shot in the last 2 months. Last month he screwed over Ryback, and I mean, I could even argue that Ryback really doesn't deserve a title rematch, but yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense storyline wise to have these three guys go at it.
Yeah, I think you're right, but at the same time, I do think that they are giving away CM Punk versus The Rock at the Royal Rumble rather than WrestleMania, and I do think the fact that you said that they changed Punk versus Foley to the triple threat match indicates to me that that Punk is going over because he would not have had to defend the title otherwise. So that suggests to me Punk is going to keep the title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I agree that they.
By our predictions.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
that they failed in the build-up of this match, and really, realistically, they failed in the build-up of Survivor Series as a whole. But I don't think they've dropped the ball with CM Punk individually. I think his build has been great.
Yeah, I agree, but what I don't like is the idea of The Rock versus Punk at Royal Rumble. I genuinely think that could main event WrestleMania.
True.
The Rock versus CM Punk. That should be the main event for the WWE title. Why not take the chance and have Punk?
Because they booked themselves in the corner again. I mean, they announced The Rock was going to have this Royal Rumble match months ago, and when they took that poll, the fans wanted CM Punk versus The Rock, so they had to go with that.
Okay, here's the other big question: what's going to main event the Royal Rumble, The Rock or the Royal Rumble?
Oh, the Rock versus the champion.
That must be a first then. The Royal Rumble must have main evented every other event.
There's been rare occasions where the Royal Rumble didn't main event the show. Very rare. But actually, I think that they've always had it planned to be Punk versus Rock. I mean, even when you go back to that Raw 1000, when Rock came out, huge announcement, what was the next thing that happened? CM Punk came and go to sleep.
But
what? From there, they planted the seed, and I mean, who mentioned you? I think you mentioned, Lee, that they've been taking shots at each other for the last year or so. Punk's been calling him Dwayne.
They have.
Pipe bomb promo. CM Punk was talking shit about The Rock in the pipe bomb promo, calling him the biggest ass kisser he's ever met.
Hell, for half of the feud between him and CM Punk, he was taking shots at The Rock, saying, he'd call Cena an ass kisser and say, "But you're not as big an ass kisser as Dwayne."
Yeah. And
yeah, I know.
I think WWE, they look at it and they go, with CM Punk and The Rock, that will boost the Royal Rumble's buy rate. People will pay for people will plunk down their money to see The Rock, and especially to see him beat that CM Punk that's been, screwing over guys like Cena and Ryback and barely holding on to his title for the last 6 months. Rock will come in and, teach him a lesson. And then going into WrestleMania, you have a new twist to their match. Now the title's on the line between Rock and Cena.
Yes,
and,
but
they'll definitely want to do a rematch of what drew the biggest WrestleMania buy rate of all time.
well, just what annoys me is why promote The Rock versus Cena as once in a lifetime, and then the very next WrestleMania put The Rock versus Cena in the main event again. That's what really annoys me, because they just cannot. They won't get away with it. They won't. I'm telling you now, there will be people who will be very pissed off about that.
Yeah, and I don't see it happening now. I don't see them doing that.
Yes, but where else is there to go? If The Rock win, I personally think The Rock should lose at the Royal Rumble, because I think everyone's expecting The Rock to win. If he loses,
oh yeah, I think Rock should be helping a lot of those younger guys over instead of having a match with 2 years in a row with John Cena. Put him in there with someone like Dolph Ziggler or a Wade Barrett or someone that could really use a rub from The Rock.
I do think that it would be a little bit too early to put Dolph or the Wade in. Just personally, I just think it's not the Rock level. I really think they need to boost it. But I really do think they should just wait for WrestleMania to put The Rock versus CM Punk. Why not build it up the extra 2 months and get bigger buy rate instead of the Royal Rumble?
It kind of has me worried as to what they're going to do with Punk then at WrestleMania if they do Cena versus The Rock. Do you have Punk versus Undertaker?
No, you'd have Punk versus Lesnar, because then what you'd have to have Punk, because Lesnar's still with Heyman technically. You have to have Lesnar come back with Heyman, them two get into an argument with each other. And then you'd
I have a bad feeling we're going to see Lesnar versus Triple H again at WrestleMania.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, God.
I have a bad feeling.
All right, real quick, this is from the live chat. What about the idea of The Rock versus Ryback at WrestleMania?
No way. No way.
I don't see that happening.
Ryback is too young, too green. He's too green to be in a match with The Rock.
Yeah,
Rock is very particular about who he gets in that ring with and, who's able to protect him, much like The Undertaker. And
sure.
I definitely don't see that happening.
And quite frankly, if they did that...
I think they're kind of building up to a Ryback Big Show for WrestleMania.
What? No, I don't think they are. No. I think Ryback will be genuinely against someone. Even Sheamus. Sheamus would be good.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Because it'd be just, two pretty solid guys who are pretty brutal to each other. That'd be quite good. But we
need to do a FTW special building our WrestleMania predictions.
Yeah, I like the fact that we're guessing, but what I don't like the fact is how obvious it's looking. I don't like the fact that it's looking obvious. They'll go with Punk Rock at Royal Rumble, and then Punk Cena at Mania again. I don't like that idea.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Another name that's being thrown out is Dolph Ziggler. Maybe Dolph Ziggler finally gets that push, and it's Dolph versus The Rock.
The only other thing that I could think of doing to prevent the whole once in a lifetime thing is a triple threat. The Rock, Cena, Punk.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. I can see that happening.
That's the only other possibility I can see realistically of them doing. That would be worthy of the main event. I cannot see Brock Lesnar in the main event, and I cannot see Ryback being near it either.
So with a guy like Brock Lesnar, they have such limited dates with him, and he's just they really just need to get the big dollar matches with him. I think they're beyond putting him in title matches or anything where if he won, he'd have to stick around, like a title match, or if he won the title, he'd have to come back week after week. You stick him with the bigger names, the more established names like Triple H, Undertaker, John Cena, maybe even Randy Orton. I don't know.
Would you re-sign Brock Lesnar for another year?
Oh yeah, I think they will. But the fact that they only get 3 matches a year with him, or 4 matches a year, and X amount of Raw appearances, they really need to save what they do with him. And I think that's why they didn't have any kind of run-in with Brock Lesnar last month at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and that needs to change, though. We need to see him more.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so not to interrupt here, but let's move on. Okay, so the WWE Championship match, we all say CM Punk is going to retain. Real quick, who takes the pinfall? Lee.
Tempted to say John Cena. I reckon it's going to be one of those pinfalls where Ryback will probably Ryback will probably destroy. Oh no, no, it's tough. I reckon Ryback will probably destroy John Cena, do the feed me more stuff, and CM Punk will just like kick Cena out the ring and then cover Ryback. Oh, it's so hard.
Rob?
That's what she said.
I'm gonna go with Ryback. If the WWE wants to get Cena back into the mix and start building him up for possible WrestleMania or whatever, this would be a good way to protect him and keep the feud between him and CM Punk from getting too old, even though it already is, kind of. So I think Ryback would take the pinfall.
Mike?
Yeah, it's tough to guess. In my opinion, they ruined Ryback last month by having him lose. They really painted themselves into a corner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Ryback taking the pin.
I do think that was the only way out, right? Because they booked that main event. I do feel that was the only way out with Ryback last month. That's the only way they could have gone.
I really wanted to see them go in a new direction with Ryback. Once they put him in there, I thought they should have went all the way with him instead of that screwy ending that we got.
Yeah.
I was not happy, when that pay-per-view was over. I thought that was, such a waste of my time.
But the only reason was because Cena was injured. That's the only reason he was there. And I don't understand why people thought he was going to win the title, because the only reason he was there is because Cena was injured.
All right, well, speaking of the screwy finish at Hell in a Cell, do you see Brad Maddox getting involved again in this match?
No,
I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
No.
I think in storyline, I think he's dead.
For the meantime.
I think Ryback murdered him.
I think Ryback murdered him.
The only person, because it's Survivor Series, that I could see
with a lame storyline.
No, the only person I can see interfering is Brock Lesnar, but I don't think that's I don't think that'll happen. Unless, of course, like Brock Lesnar is instructed by Heyman to defend Punk, and I don't know. To be honest,
I wonder one of the hanging plot threads that they have is the favor that Paul Heyman owes Wade Barrett. I wonder what that'll lead up to.
Well, there's
Maybe.
that, and I mean, Heyman was backstage talking with Brad Maddox, so I mean, there's a connection there too, that there was
true.
some kind of planning going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just planted the seeds there just in case they wanted to use that ending.
Maybe he slipped him some kind of virus that Brad Maddox then injected Ryback with during the match, and now Ryback can't wrestle, and he's in the hospital, and he's got SARS and Legionnaire's disease all wrapped up in one, and it's like the new plague.
You sound like
with me on that one.
You sound like Vince Russo on a good night.
It's one of Russo's better ideas. And then you can even have Bobby Heenan there on commentary going, "Oh my gosh, I could smell the virus from here."
This
always do
conversation.
that when he doused someone with gasoline, Bobby Heenan, who's not even in the arena. "Oh my gosh, I can smell the gasoline from here."
No words.
No words.
No
All
words.
right, so that's Survivor Series. I just checked WWE.com, and no new matches has been made. No changes to the current card. So this is what we got. With that in mind, we were all kind of down on the build-up to Survivor Series, but just overall, looking at the card on paper, do you think this is going to be a good pay-per-view? Lee?
I'm going to call it right now. This is very, very strictly a one-match pay-per-view, and I'm pretty sure that's why 3/4 of the people are buying it. for CM Punk, Ryback, and Cena.
Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I think from a work rate standpoint, I think the Ziggler versus Foley match will be really good. Really looking forward to watching that, but the rest of the show looks kind of so-so on paper. Big Show and Sheamus, they could surprise us. They did last month. That could be okay, but I'm already getting my thumbs in the middle, already warmed up for my rating of this show.
Rob?
This is a 1, maybe 2 match pay-per-view. Other than that, it doesn't look very impressive.
Yeah, there aren't many WWE pay-per-views that I'm not looking forward to watching, but this one I'm not. It's not really as good as it should be, especially for one of the big 4 pay-per-views.
I have to say though, WWE...
This has always been like the least of the 4 pay-per-views, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even a few years ago, they were thinking about just rebranding Survivor Series altogether.
Do you not think though that some of the pay-per-views that look kind of shitty on paper turn out to be the ones that actually quite surprise you? It tends to be that way this year.
Well, I think it's just if you set your expectations low, then anything above average is awesome.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but there was an exception of last month's shit pay-per-view that would just look crap, and it was crap. But like everyone, no, I don't know. I'm changing my mind. No, I'm going to stop because I genuinely do think it'll be pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the WWE Championship match just because I don't know what's going to happen outside. We're all pretty sure CM Punk's going to win, but how are they going to push that?
You see, the funny thing is as well that Sky Bet over here have got Cena winning at like 4-1, which is just ridiculous.
Interesting.
Which is pretty high, which is pretty unlikely. Not that that means anything, but like, I don't expect Cena to win.
No. Yeah, and I think for a majority of these matches, like the Divas Championship, the World Championship, and the Survivor Series match itself, I'm not necessarily looking forward to those matches on this pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen for Tables, Ladders, and Chairs next month. Just to see where they go with all of these guys.
You're looking for a Divas TLC match.
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair play if it happens.
Yeah, not necessarily that stipulation, but I see them at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I see it now.
It always felt to me like TLC was like when they actually ended all of the storylines and feuds for the year. It seems like everything built up to TLC. That's where things ended. Then they do 2 or 3 weeks of filler TV, and then boom, you're right there in the build up to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So I mean, we're just starting to get geared up for one of the better parts of the year for wrestling and all that.
Yeah, and it seems like, generally speaking, isn't it the time like right between Royal Rumble and the first pay-per-view, like Elimination Chamber? That's when they're taking the most risks. Like they're giving guys opportunities that they normally wouldn't.
Yeah, they do, and I like that. Yeah. I do like that.
I don't know. I feel like during that period is when they know what they're doing and they're actually focused as to what they're building towards. I mean, maybe that's why to me it seems like the best time of the year for wrestling is when they actually know what they're doing.
It is baffling. It is baffling how they can't keep that standard up. I don't expect them to keep it up all year round, but it's how low it gets at some periods of time. Because it really does get low.
Because you get that 3 or 4 months, build up to WrestleMania. Excuse me. But then after that, you get what's called the WrestleMania hangover, where
God, yeah,
Extreme Rules and Over the Limit and whatever the hell the June pay-per-view's called, where you just go, gosh, this is just
No. I'm going to disagree with you there. I think the Extreme Rules tends to be pretty good. It has been last year and the year before. It's been pretty good.
Oh,
in fact, no.
Yeah, I mean,
when it was Backlash, when it was Backlash, it was pretty good as well.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
fair.
but it's just like in your head, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is too much wrestling. Oh, why am I even watching this right now? It's sunny outside. I want to go outside. You might not say that in England, but
No, yeah, obviously. But no, for me, it's the May
it's so
pay-per-view
bleak
that does it.
outside. I want to go out.
Shut up. It's the May pay-per-view that does me. It's Over the Limit, I think it is. God, that's normally shit.
Over the Limit is the June pay-per-view, and that's seen John Cena main event every single time the last 3 years, which is it's only been in existence for 3 years.
I know, but like it does John Cena versus R-Truth as the main event. Jesus Christ!
Last year it was John Laurinaitis versus John Cena.
Oh god,
I know,
forgot
like,
about that.
God, that was my lord. It's
But at
genuine.
least they had CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at least to back that up.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the main event. I stick by that. That was horrible. Not that match, the Laurinaitis match. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That sucked.
All right, so that's it. That's Survivor Series. That's what we think about the show, and want to thank everyone who's been in the live chat. You've been awesome as always. Lee, anything else you want to add before we head out? Go ahead and plug if you want to plug.
No, I don't need to plug. I'm just like, you can tweet me at WN Source tomorrow night, and I will be tweeting it. And I will be. Survivor Series finishes at 4:15. Or, well, no, it's 4 o'clock because it's pay-per-view. And I'll be up at 7 o'clock for my job. So, it's dedication.
Mike?
You can follow me on Twitter at MJQPack. Yeah, I'll be tweeting tomorrow and probably Monday for Raw. You can check out my SmackDown and WWE main event reports over PW Torch. Those get posted, Wednesday for main event, usually Wednesday night, and Saturday for SmackDown. Check out my thoughts and analysis of the shows there. Other than that,
Check out your explanation marks.
Yeah, all my exclamation points, and I noticed during one of my main event reports, I started almost half the paragraphs with "back in the ring" or "back on main event," or at least with the word "back." I think half of my paragraph started with. So I mean, you can make a game out of me just using the same phrases and exclamation points over and over again.
You should try The Scene Fades In. Next
Try
time.
what?
The Scene Fades In.
Oh. Well, that's my big finish, SmackDown fades out, or main event fades out. So
Okay.
Fade to the logo.
I'm going to finish off.
Okay.
This is a tweet from WWE in the last 2 minutes. They were given a poll as to who would win the Divas title match on Sunday. 72% voted Caitlyn.
Oh, I'm also going to be plugging my special appearance tomorrow at the BW3 Arena in Strongsville.
Yes. I will be there as well. We're going to be carrying a live chat at ftwpodcast.com/chat. So definitely get involved there. We've been doing that every pay-per-view for the last 2 pay-per-views, and it's been awesome. But that's it. That's the show. Why not check out ftwpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. There's even a support tab there where you can donate. You can rate us on iTunes. We'd love to get your feedback. So send us an email. Get up on us on Facebook. Let us know what you think about today's show and all of the discussions that we have. Thank you again, everyone in the live chat. We record every episode of the FTW podcast here on ftwlive.com every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And that's it. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. See you later.
Bye-bye.